The Executive Office of the President is a creation of the 20th century. Presidents prior to Franklin Delano Roosevelt had advisors, civilian advisors. Probably the most notable one of those was Colonel House, who was a close advisor of Woodrow Wilson. Each president had some advisors who worked with him, but they were not a part of a formal organization. We're not going to take the time and energy and to discuss the creation and the development of the Executive Office of the President in great detail, because it's probably more information than you need. But Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when he took control of the presidency in March of 1933, found himself in the midst of the world's greatest depression with major problems. He had, in the months prior to becoming president, he was elected in November and did not take office until March. That would be corrected by an amendment to the Constitution to move the swearing in of the president up to January. Put together and used his own funds to hire experts to give him advice on what needed to be done. As he became president, he transferred the cost of these experts to the bureaucracy by borrowing positions from different departments, most notably like the Navy or the Department of State, to employ these people. But finally, Congress decided that the Executive Office of the President needed to be institutionalized. They appointed a commission, created a commission called the Brownlow Commission, which studied it and came up with a proposal. It recommended the creation of an Executive Office of the President. These officers would not be subject to Senate confirmation as regular administrative employees were. Now, I've highlighted three of the significant agencies: the National Security Council, the Office of Management and Budget, and the Council of Economic Advisors. Those particular departments were among the very first that had been established, and we could go into a great deal of history on this, but we're not going to do it. Now the Executive Office of the President consists of a number of agencies, some of which are very, very highly involved in the creation of broad-based policies, and others which Congress created so it could give some point to something that it had done to try to solve problems, like the Office of National Drug Control Policy or the Office of National AIDS Policy. Whether or not these need to be agencies within the Executive Office of the President, we can debate, but Congress has put them there. This is a very short lecture on the Executive Office of the President. Probably the most significant office is the White House office, which you don't see on this particular list because it's not technically a part of the Executive Office of the President. Instead, it is the President's closest advisors, his press secretary, his personal aides, and personal advisors. If you're interested, the book has a fairly decent translation of it, and we can also refer you to Wikipedia, or you can go to whitehouse.gov and get a fairly good look at the Executive Office of